Anyway, hearties, a very good evening to you. It's just me, Scottie McCLUE, and we are, of course, live on the big one. This is what it's all about. How marvellous. Saturday night, 9 o'clock sharp, nothing gets past me, and we are ready to do business. We've got 1 hour of superb, scintillating information, education, and entertainment for not just one nation, but for all the nations of the world. DINKY-DOO, Scottie, says the wonderful Professor Numpty Heed. Numpty Heed, we might hear from you tonight. You might make an exception and come and join us. So there you are. It's Scottie McClue now, of course. So there you have it. You see, if you look at the old YouTube. Hey, Scottie, and everyone says, Amy, welcome, Amy. Lovely to have you with us. And DINKY-DOO, Ginty and Blitz have joined us. Angela Wellness has just joined us. Good evening, Scottie. Good evening, Angela. How lovely to have you with us. And, of course, love all your support and chat. Tremendous stuff. Hey, Scottie, how are you? Kareem, lovely to have you with us. We might hear from you tonight, Kareem, as well. It's been a very, very, very busy week. Yo, Scottie. Yo, Eunice. There we are. DINKY-DOO, love you. Respect, my friend. Paddy, thank you so much. Big respect to you. Respecto, I tell you. Susan's joined us. Hi, Scottie. Hello, Susan E.B. Lovely to have you with us. And Tuts, wahey. Good evening, all. Good evening, Tuts, wahey. I tell you, many thanks. Not at all, Angela. A great privilege, I tell you. So there we are, 12:10 to 12:10 to 12:10 that you're watching Scottie McClue. We did pop up last night. Is there football on tonight? I love your banter, sir, says Paddy. Paddy, you're very kind. A bit of banter. You need a bit of banter these days. Not enough about thoughts on the UK getting involved in the Iran war. Well, I think they are actually involved on the edge. But somebody was saying tonight, you know, they've got to really think about what they're doing because there will be an after-war period. And America supported us so much in the Second World War. There we are. Leeds and Brentford are playing right now. Oh, Amy, I don't think we need to worry too much about that. I've got a big audience in Leeds. Not so sure about Brentford. There we are. DINKY-DOO says, Qwerty, it's your top man, Qwerty. DINKY-DOO, Scottie McClue from Partington in Manchester. You know it, I do. I lived in Manchester, of course. And DINKY-DOO, Scottie McClue. I tell you, DINKY-DOO to you. There we are. Remember not to spam, just one message. There we are. And DINKY-DOO from Ayr, says Chris. There's somebody spamming. I'll have to mute them. So there we are. We will mute. That's us mutate. There we go. Guys, remember, if you spam, we have to mute you. And if you're rude to anybody on here, it's a lifetime ban. So very, very, very high vibe, very, very, very high standards. I'll tell you, stay fabulous. DINKY-DOO. How's you today, Scottie? We're very well. There's Richard J.D. Tanner. Evening, Scottie. Evening, Richard. It's a wee bit scary, Scottie. Apparently, 2 gained entry to fast lane. Yeah, but they would get caught pretty quick there. I could tell you the guys are on the button at fast lane. You know, a friend of mine had a boat and he was legit, but he went into the gear lock and it wasn't long before they were overseeing what he was up to. And I can remember when I worked on the ferries, we used to steer through the wake of the old subs as they went by. Nobody bothered in those days, but that was 1968, I tell you. There we are. Evening, hope you're well, says the wonderful Joanna Slater. Lovely to have you with us, Joe. And DINKY-DOO, I say, and love to the family. Fantastic. Richard, what are you doing? Richard is one of the most generous people on the planet, Richard J.D. Tanner. And when he comes on here, he gives McClue red roses. And he's spoiling me now. He's away up around the 50 red roses mark. Richard, thank you so much. Thank you, I say to you. Good evening. Hello, Susan says, Tups. There we are. And Kareem, of course, they like a wee conversation. Richard, thank you so much for my beautiful red roses. 50 red roses. What about that, Dinky-Doo? Hello from Campbellton again, says Frank. Frank, we love you in Campbellton. The Mull of Kintyre, down there with the palm trees and everything. And Bengullion, Bengullion, I tell you. Yes, absolutely busy week with everything going on. A shout out, Scottie, my friend. Lots of new videos for you as well, guys. Now, which ones do you like best? We've got the Glasgow Essentials Facebook page. Everybody should follow that one. And I've been doing videos for that as well. Mark says, give me a shout out, Scottie, my friend. Yes, no problem at all. Get more heart me's. It's saying, thank you. Richard's just sent me a heart me as well. In fact, what have we got here? Dinky-Doo, good lad. Carbonic. Glenn from Blackburn says hi. He's watching from the telly. There we are. Glenn from Blackburn. I tell you, Theo, Dinky-Doo, 80% of the live goals completed with to celebrate the moment. Is that not amazing? Thank you. That's due to the generosity of Richard J.D. Turner. I tell you. Professor Numpty says, Scottie, I was given a prepaid funeral for my 50th. Seemingly, I never showed. I tell you, Scottie, I do hope you and all your listeners are in good health and doing well. Hi to all from Florida. Robert is in Florida. We love you in Florida. Do you go down to Mar-a-Lago, Robert, and see the dawn? Please say, God save the king with a passion. Oh, you have no idea the amount of passion that goes into when I say, God save the king. Who else have we got here? Hello, Susan, says Amy. They're having a good chat. I will do. Good one, Robert. Excellent stuff. Now, who have we got here? A live talk show featuring Scottie McClue. Join the chat and ask a question. Absolutely. They enjoy your powerful content, with good content on here, I can tell you. Dinky-Doo says, Seth, you are the BOMB. Good evening, Scottie from Bonnie Troon. We love Troon. Do you know Barassi? Apparently there's an old castle on the beach. Am I right? Have I got that right? There we are. Controversial situations. Well, yes, Carbolic, but I mean, what I found very strange is the media are not doing themselves any favor. The so-called mainstream media, soon to be taking a back seat to what's on the internet everywhere else. I tell you, user 6676, not everybody has your lifestyle. So there we go. So the media aren't really doing themselves any great favors because they're coming out with things like, oh, there's no plan. And it looks like Donald Trump doesn't know what he's doing. And very naive nonsense that's fooling nobody. Trust me, Donald Trump knows exactly what he's doing and everything is planned. But he's not going to go and say it, is he? I mean, you know, did Winston Churchill stand up in the House of Commons before D-Day? Say, well, we're planning to have a secret crossing of the Channel and take France by storm. So, you know, I mean, where are people coming from? SP, I would never be able to discuss that. So there you are. Running around the Ragged Rock, the Ragged Rascal Ran. Well, it's actually running round the Ragged Rock, the Rugged Rock, the Ragged Rascal Ran. These are very good for limbering up your voice, you see. a bit like lemon liniment and a cricket critic. Red leather, yellow leather. Try to imagine an imaginary manager managing an imaginary menagerie. I tell you. Somebody once asked me, what is it your wife does, Scottie? I said, well, it's quite hard to say, really. She sells seashells on the seashore. There we go. That's what we said. I never watch the news anymore, says Amy. Amy, you and millions of others. I sometimes pop it on in the morning and I think, what is this nonsense coming beaming into my house when I know it's fabrication? So there we go. Spot on, Scottie. Absolutely. Dinky-Doo, Scottie. It's Glenda from Blackburn tuning in on TikTok from work. Nice and quiet. Well, don't tell the bosses that, Glenn. Scottie, do you agree? Well, yes, but SP, we don't mention politicians by name on here. So there you are. So I can't even go there. Now, who else have we got here? A shout out, says David for noon. Dinky-Doo, Scottie, how are you? Jimmy, Dinky-Doo to you, la. And welcome. Lovely to have you with us, I tell you. Now, a pigeon has more rights than me. They don't get fined for messing the streets, says Numpty Heed. Yes, well, you know, don't mess the streets, I say. You don't know how many pigeons are taken into custody. There might be a message there. See what I just did there, Numpty Heed? A lively talk show, Dinky-Doo, I say to you. Oh, not half. Are you or any of your forebears of the Masonic persuasion, Scottie? Wham, I wouldn't know. I mean, how would you know? Is that not all a secret? I mean, how could you tell? I tell you. So who else have we got here? I don't think the news is fabricated, Martin. You might not think it's fabricated, but trust me, a lot of it is. A Dinky-Doo from London. Well, it's got a slant on it, a certain slant, but things like Donald Trump doesn't know what he's doing. That's fabricated. Trust me. Dinky-Doo from London. John McDonald. Love having you in London. Dinky-Doo, I tell you, what a fabulous name, John McDonald. Unless you don't want to believe it. Well, no, you see, Martin, the truth isn't a question of whether or not you want to believe it. The truth is the truth. Facts are facts. Opinions are legion. So there you go. So it's not a question of if you don't want to believe it. It's a question of if it's not true, why, what sort of person would believe it? Are you with me, Martin? I tell you. So there we are. Glenn says, get GB News on. That's the best news channel. Dinky-Doo, Scottie. So there we have it. How are you doing, Scottie? You're still amazing, David. You're very, very kind. Lovely to hear from you. Hopefully we'll get a call from you later. We've got new lines. So there you go. A lot, but not all of it. No, not all of it, Martin. There's grains of truth in stuff. But when you hear statements like that, you think this is very, very slanted and it shouldn't be. So there you go. The monarchy in the 21st century is a complete and utter joke. Now, Con, what kind of silly statement is that? The 21st century doesn't make any difference at all. The monarchy is about 2,350 years old. The old Celtic monarchy coming from Ireland, you see? And that was the start of it. And then you have the more modern monarchy coming in around the 800s and 900s. So you've got that as well. And then you've got the monarchs were chosen by the Pope, by the Catholic Church. His Holiness chose the monarchs. And then we elected our king in 1320 to Scotland. And then Scotland took over the English throne in 1603. So the monarchy is a Scottish thing. And I mean, where are you getting this complete and utter joke? What are you talking about? It brought in £2 billion and it cost us 163 million. So you do the maths, I'll tell you. This is the kind of rubbish that people come out with because they've had their heads stuffed with it. That's the problem, Con. I tell you, you make my day better, says Meerkat Fan. Well, I'm a Meerkat fan as well, I can tell you. Now, who have we got here? Oh, moving on. Busy tonight, guys, I can tell you. Now, what have we got here? I'm just running through the messages as soon as I possibly can. Where does that come from? Oh, I see what we've got here. Yeah. There we go. Right. Now, we need to just give me a wee second, folks, where what we're doing here is just getting everything working as it should. And I've got something that's popped up here, and I'm just trying to get it to pop down again. That's it. There we are. Done it. Nothing gets past me. Richard, thank you. Scottie, where's Hadrian's Wall? Please, I'm just interested. Hadrian's Wall runs along the old Scottish border between Carlisle and Newcastle. And it starts off just outside Carlisle. And it very much runs along the line of the old A69. And then you've got the old military road that runs along the line of the wall. And it goes to Wall's End or Wild's End, just outside Newcastle. So there you have it. And that's where it is. You never change, Scottie. Nice one, I tell you. Entertainment. It's been a while since I've been able to join. So the wonderful James Wilson. So there we go. Now, who else have we got here? Guys, don't spam or I'll have to mute you. Yeah, I'm going to have to mute. What a shame. There we go. Guys aren't getting it. So there we go. We'll just mute you. We won't block you. Don't worry. But there we go. You don't spam. You just put something up once. Oh, it's Scottie McCLUE, says John. Dinky-Doo, John, I'll tell you. Amy says halt whistle. Yes. Well, halt whistle's on the line of the wall, where you get the train to after Carlisle. Yeah, absolutely. If you're going the other way, you'd call into Wetherall, buying the train, and then into Carlisle Station. So that's what. I've got a new phone. The screen's a lot better than my old phone, says Susan. It wasn't very clear. Is this nice and clear, Susan? I'll tell you. To get to Hadrian's Wall. Yes, wonderful. And you can see the line of the wall. A great way to see it is coming back from Newcastle in early evening on a nice clear night. And you can actually see the line of it. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I tell you. So there we are. Raiden, we would need to translate what you're saying. So let's just see if we can do that. We might be able to do it, you see. I don't know if it's what. Hang on. I'm seeing if I can translate something here, guys. No, I can't translate, Raiden. Sorry, La. So there we go. Yes, a lot better, Scottish, Susan. That's great, Susan. I am delighted, I tell you. I'm still not falling for your royal rage bait. Well, John, I would never do rage bait. You know, I mean, I'm giving you the truth. And if you don't want to fall for the truth, I'm an anti-monarchist, but everyone's entitled to their opinion. London Irishman, why on earth would anybody be an anti-monarchist? It's madness. So there we are. How would Dinky-Doo translate, Raiden? So there you go. Dinky-Doo, I tell you. Hey, Scottie, I am, sir. So there you are. Yeah, but what a strange thing to be, an anti-monarchist. because you're an Irishman. And who was it that founded Sinn Féin? Was it Arthur Griffith? He was a great monarchist. So you need to look into your history. And of course, the monarchy comes from Ireland. So you should be pro-monarchy. That's what it's all about. Richard has sent me a finger heart in the gift gallery. How beautiful is that, Richard? Thank you for 6 finger hearts. Richard, don't. You'll bankrupt yourself. You're so kind to McClue. No, I pass on the monarchy. Well, don't pass on the monarchy. Get yourself signed up. Work out who's stuffed your head with what nonsense. And we can discuss it on here and help you. Help you. Yes, indeed. Hello, it's Neil in Bournemouth. Bryn Breed. Hello from Neil in Bournemouth. Neil's down in Bournemouth, beautiful part of the world down there. I tell you, he's from Paisley. He's a buddy. Now, who else have we got? I'm open to debate, sir. Good, come on and debate. That's what it's all about. There's only one real king of Scotland. And who is that, John? That would be King Charles. Yes, indeed, I tell you. Who else have we got here? Phoebe's just joined us. Riley's joined us. Riley says, hi. Hi, Riley. Lovely to have you with us. And a big dinky-doo. That's what it's all about, I tell you. And Ryan is back with us. And ABBCCC DDDD has joined us as well. How are you? We're good, Riley. Thanks for coming and joining us. Very much appreciated. Tatsu Hayes says there's a lovely Roman site in Northumberland known as Vindolanda, which is even older than Hadrian's Wall, correct? It was discovered in the 1970s and excavated extensively. Since then, well worth a visit. I know Vindolanda very, very well, Tups. You can actually see the little leather sandals that the Romans wore. They've got the lot there. Was it older than Hadrian's Wall? Because I would have thought it would have been a main supply station for the wall. Good evening, Scottie. Dinky-Doo would like to ask your most favourite part of your hometown of Greenock. Sean, my favourite part of Greenock is all of it. I absolutely love it. And when I arrive there up the Delling-Bun and down the Prospect Hill, and then all the old streets that used to be there, Belleville Street and Ann Street, Holmescroft Street, Trafalgar Street, Lyle Street. You know, I mean, just wonderful, great, great history in Greenock. And when I was young, Greenock was falling down with money. I tell you, absolutely. Dinky-Doo, Kai. Lovely to have you with you. Your monarchy is out of date. Carbolic, how could the monarchy possibly be out of date? What is the sell-by date on the monarchy? Don't be ridiculous. You know, I mean, it's lasted for 2,350 years. If you go right back to the ancestors of Rhee in Ireland, and all the kings of Ulster and the kings of Ireland, the ancient kings of Scotland, there is no date on the monarchy. So there we are. You even remember being there? Oh, absolutely. Great history, some parts better left to history, like the Gibbie. Well, a lot of wonderful people up the Gibbie and the Strone and the Fancy Farm. I tell you, it didn't last until 1649 in England. Well, it did, and then they made the dreadful mistake of murdering the king, the cowards. And of course, they had to bring him back as soon as possible. So there's what you're really saying is there's your best advert for monarchy. David says, you're a legend, Scottie. When are you putting the next giveaway up? MUFC, I might give away you as a prize. I live near a castle where Robert the Bruce owned it. Was that Tarbert Castle? There we are. Robert the Bruce would have owned all the castles. But I'm wondering if you're talking about Tarbert Castle in Tarbert in Argyll. You've got Bruce Hill, and he was on the run. Robert the Bruce was on the run in Tarbert, and he was starving. He nearly starved to death, and a female goat let him suckle her milk. And after that, he announced that goats could roam free in Scotland because they'd saved the life of the king. There we are. Get yourself up to Lennox Castle. Well, Kai, it's ruined now. Lennox Castle, I don't think it was ever actually a castle. Was it not built as a hospital? I tell you, I love this, guys. Some comments in this live were filtered to protect the community's experience. That means they've booted all the wee trolls down the Swanee. I tell you, was it true, Robert the heard that, Amy? You know, you haven't heard the last of me, Batman. Oh, I think we have, Joker. So there were. I hadn't heard that Robert the Bruce was an inspiration for Batman, but I have met Spider-Man, but that was on the web. And then we invited him to stay at the house, but he actually stayed 2 nights because he got stuck in the bath. I tell you, oh, good old Spider-Man. There's a Glasgow superhero, and he's called Quality Man. I tell you. Now, who else have we got here? I love this. Some comments were filtered. That's so beautiful. I was talking about Loch Doon. It was before he was crowned, I'm certain. Oh, Loch Doon. Is Loch Doon not where there are aircraft that crashed in the Second World War? Loch Doon, am I right? Spitfire crashed at Loch Doon. My mother-in-law's from Gibbs Hill. I'll only jokingly talk about incredible people from there. We love people from the Gibby. Anybody from Greenock is blessed. There we are, touched by the hand of God. I tell you, and it was such a pro-God town. Churches falling down with churches. There we are, Greenock. Absolutely wonderful. And a Sunday morning, bells, 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 bells ringing. I could probably run down all the churches for you and see if you remembered any of them. So there you are, more like Hobocop. We love it. So there we are. Up there, Gibby. But look at the view. So there we are. I was talking about Loch Doon before he was crowned. Oh, before he's crowned. So that would be pre-1306. So there we are. Lulu was born at Lennox. Was that right? I tell you, huge place. So there you go. But like the rest of Scotland, it got ruined by Margaret Thatcher. So there we go. And I heard the Tory boy having a go at the ferries, at the present government for the ferries. And I thought, be very careful, chummy, because it was Margaret Thatcher that ruined shipbuilding in Scotland. Ruined it. Yeah. Sold off all the yards cheap to our friends. One company, I think, had her husband in it. And it was zoned for house building, worth more money. Same as this country's done with all its top factories. Look into the Royal Enfield factory and see what happened there. Good evening from the heart of the borders in the greatest town of Hawick, Craig. I got invited to speak at the Common Riding, and I would have loved to have spoken at the Common Riding, but it clashed with something else I was doing. I tell you, because that would be a great privilege. We love Hawick. Is the horse, the man on the horse, still in the middle of the tune? There we are. And of course, the wonderful Bill, the greatest, Bill McLaren, the greatest rugby commentator ever. There was a Hawick man. But see, when I knew all the rugby boys in Edinburgh, They called Hoyk Dirty Hoyk when you mentioned Hoyk. So all these other big border playing sides are Dirty Hoyk. So I don't know if Hoyk had a reputation as being really hard players and got stuck in there and took it to the limit with the rugby. You can maybe enlighten us. We love the heart of the borders. Quite often I used to go there from East Lothian to Carlisle and then down the road for Manchester. There we are. The wild roam around Loch Lomond. Rome would be R-O-A-M for that one. R-O-M-E is the capital of Italy. I've been to Newcastle many times, never had a bad night out. I love Geordies. Well, Geordie's tops are here really just Scots who have had their brains taken out, you know, that sort of stuff. Geordies are lovely, lovely people. And I can remember coming out the station. The radio station was on the other side of the Tyne. It was over the other side. And I used to come out and I would look over at Newcastle lit up as bright as day. I'll tell you, sad news about Chuck Norris. Absolutely, Susan. Very, very sad news indeed. So there we are. And the lovely Dame Jenny Murray, an outstanding British broadcaster. I've popped up the Scottie McClue interview on Radio 4 with Dame Jenny. She was delightful to work with. Delightful. And I saw that she had gone. So I think she was 75, just coming up 76. There are Dame Jenny Murray Woman's Hour on the radio. So there we are. Wonderful. I like radio people. Now, who else have we got here? Social project that went wrong. What was that, Carbolic? So there we are. Post a new generated highlight, mostly diamonds. Thank you so much for all your kindness tonight, guys. And I've got 5,000 followers. So there we are. I think the phones are on. We haven't had a phone call yet tonight, so maybe Numpty Heed will take charge of that. So there you go. Stephen's given us, what's that, Stephen? Bacon, lettuce, and what's the K? So there we go. Yeah, she sure did. She privatized England's water too. Absolutely, Isa Lease. I tell you, Isa Lease. Maggie sure did a number on the North. She certainly did. And that's what I'm worried about, the new parties that are coming in. I'm not hearing sounds of independence. And in fact, one person was hinting that Scotland got too much money via the Barnett formula. So let me just let you know, the Barnett formula, we sent from Scotland 98 billion pounds to Westminster for squandering. And boy, do they know how to squander. And we received back, I think about 33 billion. So that meant Westminster's 65 billion pounds up from the sweat of the Scottish brow, right? So, you know, any party that talks about reducing that, no. But what I think we should be doing in Scotland is drilling for oil and gas. And if anybody cuts up rough, then reduce their salary to net zero. There we go. Dinky-Doo. Now, what else have we got here? Hello. Kenneth McKellar, says Ryan. How beautiful. What's the phone number, says Aidan? 01416289795. How to call? Pick up your phone, dial 01416289795, and I will answer. So there you have it. I tell you. That's our Aidan. Who else have we got here? Go green. Well, Carbolic, going green is not decreasing our bills. Scotland should have free energy. It's absurd. See, when hydroelectricity came in the 1950s, the selling point from the politicians was the Scots will get virtually free electricity. Where did the calculations go wrong? I think hydroelectricity is some of the dearest. Imagine what we could do with that 65 million as an independent Scotland. Easy Misa Lisa, it's 65 billion with a B. So there we go. I tell you, so it's 1,000 times what you're saying. Are you against Israel? I don't know what that even means. How could a person be against a state that's up and running? So there you go. It's insane. We don't use our oil and we buy it from abroad, making the citizens pay. Yeah, we should get our oil. Scots, there's only 5 million of us. It would be nothing to say, look, free wood, free peat, free coal, free steaks, free oil, free gas. You know, Bob's your auntie by modern understanding. I tell you. Now, what else have we got here? Good evening, Scottie. Love you from Airdrie. Love from Airdrie. Hope you're well. Craig, how lovely to hear from you from Airdrie. I tell you, we are Dinky-Doo. Free booze, says Numpty Heat. I don't know that you drill for booze, Numpty Heat. I think you brew it. But had you been around 150 years ago, Numpty Heat, you might have got free booze because there were lots of illicit stills. Because the government thought, let's tax the Scots as much as we can squeeze out them. And they had huge punitive taxes on whiskey, on grain spirit. Anyway, long story short, the Scots, the communications weren't so good. So up popped the wee stills, making the moon shine, as we say. See what I just did there? Free broccoli. Oh, free broccoli. The oil revenue went on the DHSS. No, because we didn't have the oil revenue. If you look at the McCLUE report, superb, Scotland's top economist. If you look at that report from 1974, you'll see just the huge amounts that were coming into Scotland and being whipped away by Westminster, and the Scots not told. Keep them in the dark. Treat them like mushrooms. Keep them in the dark and cover them in shit. Now, what else have we got? Hello from Newcastle, Dinky-Doo, says Trev Treasure Hunts. Lovely to have you with us. So, Numpty Heed, I was touched by God. I've reported him to the police. Numpty Heed, why? Numpty Heed, you're bigger than that. Come on now. Very knowledgeable, says Clarky. Thank you, Clarky. We do our best because it's important that the people are informed. So there we are. There's Dylan, who calls himself a date of birth berater. Is that right? D-O-B-B-E-R. Yes, he's a date of birth berater. Numpty Heed. Misa Lisa's laughing. Sorry, mate, says Dylan. No, Dylan, it's all right. I mean, I don't think you'll know what that means. It might just be and you've heard it and then used it and then thought, oh, I shouldn't have said that to Scottie. So I tell you. Now, what have we got here? Lyle has just joined us. Dinky-Doo, lovely to have you with us, Lyle. Welcome. I say you're watching SCOTTIE McCLUE, and we're live on The Big One. The Big One. Can we do better than democracy? I don't think you can do better than democracy, but you would first need to try democracy. You see? Opinions on Wester Hales. Well, I mean, Wester Hailes, fantastic. I've got a lot of friends living in Wester Hailes. And I remember your MP, of course. Yes, JDH. There we are. How about a Scottiocracy? Well, a Scottiocracy, Tups. There's things I would like to do to get Scotland back on its feet. And I think that, as you know, I'm no nationalist, I'm apolitical. But I think I would like to see it get independence right away, and just say, do a Donald Trump with Westminster and say, listen, chum, that's what's happening. We're telling you, we're not asking you, right? And just take the old Act of Union to bits. People say better together. If you're in Westminster or in England, of course you're better together, but you're not better together for Scotland. And then hang on to our 98 billion and then start attracting businesses to Glasgow, to Edinburgh, to Perth, to Stirling, to Kilmarnock. When the whiskey left Kilmarnock, devastation, and the carpets and all these wonderful things. So things we need get back. Follow a lot of the Trump book and say, let's get manufacturing back in and just get the money flowing into the coffers in Scotland, the inventions, everything. So there you go. I tell you, Ian, that's complete and utter nonsense, and I don't even know why you put it there. Very, very strange. There we go. Oh my God, I used to love your radio show. Glad you're still around, Scotty. Rod, of course we're still around and just getting bigger by the day. Fantastic. 34 years of Scottie McClue. You can't beat it. There we have it. I tell you, it's like the guy that was coming out the dentist when I was going in. I said, are you all right? He said, just had all my teeth out. I said, what are you feeling like? Never again. Ex-unit lad myself. I lived in Aberdeen in the 80s. Oil was booming. So did I. I was in Aberdeen 1984. And it was boom time up there. Everybody beautifully dressed, driving flash cars. And some life, I tell you. Scotty, what did you think about the fire in Glasgow? Ian, I was devastated. But if you go on to the Facebook page at Glasgow Essentials and follow it, you'll see I've put a beautiful video up of the building just a few weeks before the fire. So you'll see it intact. Cruden Bay, yeah, loved Cruden Bay. Used to sit down the Splash and listen to your show. Oh, Rod, the Splash. Everybody used to sit down the Splash Saturday night or up the Lisle Hill. Up the Lisle Hill, I tell you. What a great team tops were his, Susan. Dudley says, I've mentioned before I wish to apply for the position of President McClue's Chief of Security. Tops, I think you would have a very good chance of that. So there you go. It's very, very interesting. Over the years, I've been very humbled by the number of people that said, can I come and work with you? I always say, not for you. And I say, I don't have any jobs. I'm just Jimmy Bloke. Just Jimmy Bloke, I tell you. There we are. So, I'll do anything. I'd make the tea and I'd do that. I'd love to produce the show and say, I know. Laura says, I loved your show. Well, we love doing it, Laura. Fantastic. And we'll get back to doing it because people are starting to wake up and say, we need a Scottie McClue here. Whoever has McClue has the market. That's the buzz on the circuit. Dave Ferrer says, you're steaming. I'm not actually steaming, but I am hot. So I didn't realize there's a steam coming off. There we go. I didn't realize there was that hot, that it's very warm in the studio. So there might be a little bit of steam. I tell you, yes, we need the Scottie, says Rod. Laura's giving me the old, absolutely, Laura, I tell you. Now, who else have we got here? Topshoe and I would make a fabulous team, of course. Laura's sending me red roses. Laura, you're very, very kind. Thank you for that. There we are. I tell you, what a beautiful thing to do, guys. We never ask for anything. But see on here, the TikTok, sometimes people tap the dollar bill on the YouTube and send me £1 or £2, and it all goes in towards equipment and stuff for the show. It's great. But we've come this far, and we've got a functioning show with functioning telephones. Wonderful. You can't beat it, I tell you. Angela Wellness has just sent me a huge power cake, the power of diamond. Level up sparks is what Angela's cake's called. There we are. Laura sent the power of diamond ×4. Is that not beautiful? Guys, thank you. Mwah, mwah, mwah. That is just such a lovely thing to do. Might give you a tune in the Moothy, folks. The wee honor. Can you see that the right way around? You'll see it the right way around in the YouTube and the other side on the TikTok. The thing about the TikTok, you used to be able to have everything. You could just tap and it would point it the other way. But I don't know if we've still got that. I tell you. Now, what have we got? Hi, Scottie, you having a good night? Thomas, I am having a stunningly beautiful night with the lovely, lovely people out there. Beautiful dreamer, Angela. What a lovely thing to say. Beautiful dreamer. There we are. I tell you. Laura's just followed us as well. Guys, get following and tell 10 to tell 10 to tell 10. So we need more and more followers. I think we've got about 36,000 followers, but we could do with 1 million followers. I tell you. Who else have we got here? Thank you for all your beautiful gifts. What a lovely, lovely thing to do. We've got about another 10 minutes, guys. So there we go. It would be a strong right arm for El Presidente McClue. I tell you, yes, I would know that everything was all right. People say, El Presidente McClue, why are you so relaxed, eh? I say, because of a Tups way does a security. There we are. Give us a wee ring, Tups, unless you're refreshed. Well, even if you're refreshed, it's not the end of the world, is it? A shout out, says Grizzly Bear. Yes, I see where you're coming from, Grizzly Bear. Yes, absolutely. I don't know what you're wanting us to shout out. I think that's all being dealt with, Grizzly. I tell you. Now, who else have we got here? Just a wee minute. Let's see. Tap, tap, tappity, tap. Oops, here we go. Who do we have here? You're live on Scotty's phone in. Who's that?
Oh, Scottie.
Tups!
Don't pretend you don't know who
Tups!
is.
How lovely to hear you. Well, no, I didn't know. I didn't know if you were just chilling with Mrs. Tups or if you had a light refreshment or what was the state of affairs. That's none of my business. But I was just saying, if you want to give us a ring, we've got about 10 minutes left,
Yeah, both of those things are true, but since you asked, I thought I'd phone. I talk all the time and so much. It's nice to give somebody else a shot.
No, we love you coming on. Listen, you liven up the proceedings. There will be thousands of people listening. See, when I look, right, people see the numbers. They go, why do you see you've got a lot of people listening, all that stuff? They don't realize, for instance, last week, over 10,000 people have seen the show so far.
Oh, yeah.
You see, so it's quite big business, really.
Well, I'll keep that brief in case somebody else wants to give their thought.
Well, no, because Numpty Head's a wee bit shy, a wee bit backward at coming forward.
Oh, yes, of course it is. No, I like to think that Numpty sits on a metallic throne like the Emperor in Star Wars, and he just he puts one finger on his console on the right-hand arm of his massive metal throne and decides to press a button when he wants to actually vote. No, yeah, but Numpty is infinitely more cool than me. He keeps his powder dry. I just can't resist it. You literally mentioned my name and it's like Candyman.
Candyman, the Candyman can. No, but we do love to hear you, and you'll know I've what we say in the profession, stripped out a lot of your calls and put them up as single numbers, because they're good stuff.
Well, Mrs. Tubbs mentioned that you put one up because you know me, I don't do. This is YouTube is as far as I get to social media, and trust me, this is me at full stretch.
Full stretch. You don't want any more. Yeah, but Tubbs, I was just going to say. Go on. Tell me more.
Oh, Mrs. Tubbs is part of your YouTube gang.
Oh,
so
brilliant.
She told me that you'd clipped a bit of a chat last week.
Yeah.
I keep it at arm's length, but I am aware of it.
Yes, I know what you mean. And the Glasgow Essentials has just blown me away. It's like Scott FM all over again. I mean, we've popped up, there's 3 videos there with well over 100,000 views.
Well, that's the thing is, I mean, people from further afield might not know this, but I've said it a billion times, right? You can drop, and believe me, I drop the name Scottie McClue a lot, but you can drop the name Scottie McClue and everybody who's even within 10 years of my age either side, or 15, 20 years, and anybody in the central belt of Scotland will be like, oh God, of course I know Scotland. But hey, I was going to tell you just a very quick story and keeping an eye on the time. But I actually do have.
Well, thank goodness one of us is. I forgot about the time. That's the danger when you come on. I'm not interested in the time. I want to hear what you're saying.
No, but you mentioned earlier on about the fast lane nuclear submarine base.
Yes.
And that sparked a memory. As you know, I have had a long and varied employment career.
Of course.
My second job, when I left school with no qualifications, I worked for my father for a dreadful 8 months. One of the worst 8 months of my life.
Now, you've mentioned this before, and I'm not going to pry, but you obviously had a bit of a tough time in that period.
Oh, yeah. I mean, to give him his due, my father came from absolutely nothing. He came from the worst environment you can imagine.
Was he quite a tough guy in his own way?
Oh, he was. Oh, you have no idea.
He was a hard man, but he'd be very gentle underneath, probably.
Yeah, as I found out later, because he was enormous. He was like 6'2".
Yeah, so nobody cheeked up to him. He didn't have to bother with any of that.
Yeah, but then when you find out when you're older that he actually folds like a pack of cards, but anyway, that's not what I was talking about. But it was. Let's just say we had a problematic relationship.
Yes,
but
yes.
I worked for him, but I left school with nothing, right? Absolutely nothing. A C in higher English. That was it. I then went back to universities, But his company he ran himself. I've said this before also, was at the very backside end of the Scottish shipbuilding industry. It was the scrubbing out and reinforcing and using epoxy resin and the worst kind of effluent tanks and things like that, or water tanks as well, and shot blasting barnacles, and it was that level. It was essential maintenance of ships, but it was not glorious. And I grew up with ideas of William Shatner, and so this was the life I was going to have. I wanted to be a private investigator, as you know, and I weirdly actually became. But I wanted to be something interesting. But anyway, you leave school with no qualifications, you end up crawling around the hull of massive ships. Anyway, there is a point to this. at the Fast Lane submarine base, he had the contract for the worst part of all of those. So I would.
We'll not go into too much detail, of course.
Oh, no. We weren't deactivating nuclear warheads.
But Tups, I'll tell you quite truthfully, when I was steering the ferries across the Firth, you would be not far behind going through the wash of the sub. And I used to wave to the officers at the stern, of the sub. Now you wouldn't get within 1,000,000 miles of one of these crafts.
Oh, yeah. One of my earliest memories is being abandoned in a porta cabin when the floating dock was raised up.
Yes.
And just being left with my brother to entertain ourselves.
And we used to go out to the American ship every day. I was part of the crew for the Liberty boat, and we'd go out to the American ship in the Holy Loch and pick up the sailors and take them ashore for liberty.
Yeah, he did some work at the Holy Loch as well, but when I actually steered, but he had to hire one of the Calmac ferries for it, and I got a chance to steer it because everybody thought I was a privileged little rich kid, and I really wasn't. But what I was going, I'll wrap this up quickly because you don't have much time. But the real workers, the guys that had to crawl around the tanks, at lunchtime at the floating dock at Fast Lane, they had a block and tackle that they just put into the water to fish, to do in the lunchtime. And they were doing this with lunch, and suddenly they thought, oh, we've got a big one. And a diver came up, he surfaced and told them they get you.
Well, that was it. You had to watch, because I can remember when I was at the wheel of the boat, the boss saying, now just be careful, don't go over there because there's divers.
Oh, yeah, it's a good place. Well, listen, that is 3 minutes.
Oh, we better go. And I've just had what happens is you get, you have to put a little jigsaw puzzle in near the end of the hour. It comes up and it goes, match the puzzle to see that you're the genuine article. So that's why when I go a little bit quiet, I'm trying to match the blooming thing. And if you just get it the tiniest bit over, it goes, oh, you're not a match.
Yeah, well, yeah, you and me, Scottie, we're safe pair of hands.
Safe pair of hands, my dear fellow. I'd better dash, and thank you so much for a fabulous call.
Thanks. See you later.
A dinky-doo. There we go. That's our top sway. Always an amazing call. I'll say goodnight to our beautiful, beautiful TikTokers tonight. Thank you so much. And an update, we've had something like 2 million people have already looked at the Facebook page. These are good numbers, I tell you, folks. Good night. God bless. Dinky-doo. Stick your tongue out and say, Papa. Papa.